All right, we're back. What do you know about that? And this time I think it's right.
Okay. Do I do a? Is it a new link
Um,
or the same?
go to the UFO Bob main page
Okay.
and click on that particular.
Oh, part two.
Yeah. Do you see it?
Yep.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have to wait a little bit because
Now it's all there's
everyone's got to get the notice.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna leave it on this shot. In fact, what I think I'll do is I might zoom into the what's going at, but boom, 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 boom.
Okay, now it's correct.
All right, boom, boom. Yeah, that'll do for now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna see who shows up. Out there somewhere. Yeah, tell me to see part two.
There is something link as well.
Yeah. Oh, great, thank you. That's even better. Yeah, because that way people who are on the first one will get to see it.
Okay, so this is watching now three.
Huh? Oh, it may not let you send the link, huh?
No, just it. I think we're good.
Okay. All right, so we have, oh, there's Megan. Okay. All righty, Megan. Thank you very much. Jason, thank you very much. Yes, we've solved the problem. I still don't understand what I did wrong because I had actually gone into the orientation and set it to what I thought was the correct setting. And then when it wasn't working properly, I then switched it to the opposite setting and it was still in vertical mode. But it doesn't matter. I need to hole punch down my bread and put it in the pan. I'm still with you. All right, very good. So I'm going to start from the beginning because I will probably delete the part one, the failed start. So I'm going to tell you where we're at, what we're doing, why we're here. First of all, right now you're looking at the sign for Photochem Film and Video. They are one of the few remaining film processing laboratories in the Hollywood area. They're also now a post-production house, just like the building we're in. This is Pivotal Post, which is a major, well, I don't know how major it is, but it's a big one. It's a big post-editing house. And I'm going to now tilt up. Well, I thought I was going to tilt up. That brownish building there is Walt Disney Studios. And as I said, we are in the city of Burbank. And now I will pull out and give you a bit of a panorama of the area we're in. And boom, boom, boom. And up is down, down is up, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so. Okay, so there you go. This gives you an idea of the area we're in. And I'll do a little pan for you. And pan the opposite direction. I'll try to go slow. Whoa, that was too fast. Sorry about that, guys. That was way too fast. So, what we're going to do is right now, we are in the common area, the lunchroom, actually. I'm going to pop the camera around for you. Actually, no, I'll just leave it that way. Come on now. Oops, don't do that. Do it this way. There you go. There you go. And it also looks like it might be listing a bit. Again, I've done my best to balance this, but it doesn't seem to be working the way I wanted it to. So we're going to go down to where my friend, Jason Bretz, is in his film editing bay. And I have to make sure to lock the door behind me, or not lock it, but shut it. This is a Saturday, so there are no other personnel here that you can see. So we're going to walk down this hall, and I'm going to show you one of the viewing rooms. And So, and here is something I think is cool. This is, well, this is one of the old style movie lights. This is probably anywhere between 40 and 60 years old, perhaps even older. I'm not really sure. Let's take a look. Oops. See if we can see anything that will tell us what we're looking at. Oh, it's a Mole Richardson light. Now, if you know, yes, if you know anything about Mole Richardson, see if you can see that. That's right. They're a lighting rental company. Jason and I have both rented from them in the past. And then I will swing over here to the right. And so again, this is again, it's nothing special. This is just where you can sit and view the videos that are being edited and have discussions. And then over here, whoa, there's the TV that they watch it on. So now let's go into Jason's boom, 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 boom editing facility. And I'm going to turn the camera around, I think. No, maybe not. All right. This has not been a great start, but what can I do? It's the best I can do at this point in the game. We'll improve as we go along. There's a lot to learn. So I'm going to turn it around. And
There you go.
yep. Hey, there he is.
Hello.
Everyone, that's Jason Bretz. And Jason and I went to film school together many, many moons ago. And now he is a professional film editor and has been for quite some time. In fact, what we'll do is I'm going to, Jason, the other Jason says hello to you.
Oh, hello. Thank you, everybody, for waiting.
And I'll put this camera over here and bring
Wow.
that over.
I'll put it back.
Yeah, boom.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh,
look
that's
at
better.
it. Much better. Now, get a nice composition for the two of us. So, where do we begin, huh?
Well, first I just want to say that thumbnail is a little bit of a clickbait because we haven't been editing on film now in probably close to 20 years or even longer. It's all taken over to digital, and also I'm my title is technically assistant editor, but I've edited stuff in the past as well as an editor. But the show that I'm currently working on, I'm an assistant, but that doesn't mean I go and get coffee and that sort of thing. But
Now-
we can get into it in a minute, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. And I didn't mean to misrepresent his position. It was easier to put editing,
Yeah, and that's what I do,
Yeah.
just so we're clear. But
And here's a little bit of trivia. When Jason and I were in film school, it was it your film or my film that we did the first nonlinear digital editing?
that was mine.
That was yours.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. I don't remember. I'm old. I don't remember. Tell them about it. Tell them what you did.
Well, this is now 1995, so it was a long time ago. Pinnacle came out, which is a company that made video graphics cards, and they came out with a capture card called the DC-1. And we were able to basically get the film transferred. This was on 16 millimeter, and basically what they call telecine. You take the film, and then they transfer it to like a videotape, and we were able to dump that into a computer. And basically, they told me I couldn't do it. That was, it wouldn't work.
Oh yeah, the teachers were totally against it.
And sure enough, we were able to actually edit on a computer, and I had to hand write out a cut list so that the negative cutter, we can kind of get in that too, basically to finish the film, to actually cut the negative and make it an answer print, and which is something you can view. And and at the end of the day, it was all fine. But
What was
that's
the film's title?
Fatherland.
Fatherland, that's right. I remember
My
that.
German expressionist
Yes.
subtitled film.
It's too bad. I don't know if Britta and Heiko are out there watching, or Samantha Fox, but they're both viewers from Germany,
Oh,
so they would appreciate both German.
wunderbar.
Yeah, Bretz and Dietz. I mean, we both have German in our blood, and we bit of the Irish, isn't it? At least I do. Just to give you an idea, some of the projects that he has edited or been the assistant editor on, they include the last season, the most recent season of X-Files.
Yeah, we actually did a reboot, the first reboot season of X-Files, so which was season 10, I believe. That was the one that only had 6 episodes, and that was a blast to do.
Yeah,
Because I was a big fan of the show when it came out.
and we both.
Yeah, we
feel that
both
way.
had actually sat and watched it. In
Yeah.
fact, it was one of the last shows on television I ever did that, where we watched, at 8 o'clock on Sunday,
Yeah.
9 o'clock, I guess, on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And to get the chance to work on it and, to be a part of sort of the history of it and work with Chris Carter was
Yeah.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I worked with an editor, her name is Heather McDougall, and she was a long time. She cut more X-Files episodes than anybody on the planet. And thank you.
Jason the Jason.
Yes, Jason. That's what anyway. It was a blast to do it. And at the time, we only thought there were going to be the 6 episodes, and and that was going to be it. But they ended up doing a whole other season. And I'll be honest, I never saw the I never saw the other one.
In fact, if you go on my Instagram account, I posted some pictures that Jason sent me from the X-Files wrap party, right? Those were the one with the big.
Oh, yeah. We were down at
the
the-
shuttle. It had the shuttle.
Yeah, at the
Yeah.
California Science Museum. There's an IMAX center there, and after the episode was completed, they actually projected it in IMAX. And it wasn't shot on IMAX or anything like that, but yeah, to get to see it, on the big screen and stuff was really cool, and just to be a whole part of that. And again, with Chris Carter was just absolutely fantastic, and to be able to work with him was really
Now,
cool.
there's another big name director you worked with, James Cameron,
And I don't
right?
like dropping names at all.
I do. I'm old and I don't give a damn. I don't, he's right. I should probably be a little more respectful, but, both of us love his work. And I don't even know what the project was. I'm sure you told me.
Yeah, it was. I was always a big fan of his. Going back to Terminator and Aliens, and he had a pet project that he did. This was about 6 years ago now, called Deep Sea Challenge, in which he went down the Marianas Trench, basically all the way to. It's like 7 miles down to the bottom of the seafloor by himself in this little sub, and. I got a call from someone I knew that they were actually editing in Australia, but they needed someone to, they did all the X-Files up in Vancouver. In fact, that sort of started that whole trend.
Hey, Alon is here. Alon, by the way, is watching from Israel.
Oh, hello,
And
Alon.
he's one heck of an animator. He's got a great channel. I'll make sure to put a link in the description box and somewhere probably right about there.
Oh, okay.
In post after this is processed and it's no longer live.
All right. Well, I guess we're telling stories, I guess, first.
Yes. So finish your conversation.
So just real quick, basically, they needed somebody to. This is a shout out. Somebody to get the material from Australia and make sure it's downloaded okay and brought into his personal Avid, and so that he could actually work and edit. And
Were you working from his home?
yes,
Sort of.
ultimately, yes.
Okay.
I mean, well, he's got a couple, but
Yeah. That kind of money you can afford to.
But just to be a part of that, I was there for 5 months and got to put together some really cool stuff. And one of the big projects with that was being able to go through all of the footage they shot back for Titanic back in 1994, where they had the ROVs go through and shoot the real Titanic, for real, and be able to go through all of that footage, and see stuff that no one else had ever seen was really really spectacular. It was amazing too how much of parts of the ship were still intact. And,
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so that was kind of a cool thing. But
Yeah.
but I digress.
Yeah, well, that's the fun thing about live streaming. Because I tell you, one of the big problems I have is getting off point, because I'm talking or I'm reading the chats, and then that launches me off to one point, which launches me off to another point, and next thing you know, we're somewhere totally different.
Right. You're talking about how he started?
Yeah, I tell you what. Yeah, I'm going to hold the camera. I'm going to swing the camera around so they can at least have a different view. I don't want to bore them to death with the same old shot.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
still learning how to operate the blasted gimbal. So as you can see, of course, maybe I should keep it. That's pretty good. So that's his editing system there. I'm going to have to hold it up like that. I may end up putting it back on the table later, but for right now, that's at least a different shot. You want to explain to them how we met?
Sure. We actually met in film school. Both went to Cal State Long Beach. I'd actually done a extension program through USC and Universal just before that, but due to lack of funds, ended up
same here.
at Cal State Long Beach. But I'm so glad I did, because it was such a different environment.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will show you all that stuff here in a minute.
And we had a great time. We had a great group of people. They put you through a bubble, so you're going through the entire program with the same people for the entire time you're there. And some of the people that were part of that bubble are in the business now. There's Tim Swanson. Now, I don't know if Tim's still over at Universal or not. Is he? Do you know?
Yeah, he's like some kind of
Executive, isn't
like junior exec or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Nat Geo, the last I heard.
he?
Yeah.
And then there is
Jeremy Hunt.
yeah, special effects. I mean, didn't he do work on one of the Star Trek movies? Didn't he?
Yeah, he's done a ton of stuff, and he's
fact-
he's still working. He actually had his own company for a long time.
Yeah.
But
In fact, Jeremy had one of the first viral videos on YouTube. It's a film called
405 the movie. Yes.
405 the movie.
Yeah, you guys should look that up. Google
Oh,
that.
I'll make sure to put, again, a link up here. It's an awesome piece of work. And he did that right after film school, pretty much, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there is, God, I'm brain freezing. Give me the
Brad
other-
Durante.
Yeah, he's a film editor.
I hope we can name names.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an editor now and working. He's up north somewhere in the Bay Area, and I can't remember what the show he was working on last, but yeah, he's doing the same. He's doing the same thing.
Anybody else that's not on our list that's still working? He
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Last of basically, it's been more than 20 years now, going on 25. It's
I
hard
can't
to believe.
believe, yeah, it just goes by so fast. And it was so much fun being in film school together. We worked on a couple of films I did was Road to Mars and Clock.
Yeah, Clock. I mean, the big thing, the difference between the two is USC, and there's and not dissing them at all. I mean, a lot of great people have come out of USC.
Yeah.
Spielberg wanted to go there, but he never could get in. He
Yeah.
actually ended up at Long Beach and
Yep.
graduated. Just after us.
Yeah,
in
he
fact, I
did.
think he turned in Schindler's List as his student film.
Yeah, in fact, I believe our instructor was a lady by the name of Sharon Blumenthal. As I
Yes.
recall, she was somehow involved in, that.
Yeah, I don't know.
little bit
It
of-
all turned sour too, I think. But
Oh,
that's a
really?
different story for a
Oh,
different stream.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
But so anyway, the difference between the two is they've got all the toys, every toy that you can
Yeah,
imagine in
yeah.
USC, and now they've pumped even more money into it. And if you've got the clout and the grades and
Yeah.
and the money to go there,
And
it's
you get the
second to none.
Yeah, actually, the one of the advantages of going to USC, it's a great school, is you get the contacts. You're going to be introduced at the highest level to the directors, producers, the agents that are going to help further your career. Now, that's not to say you can't get in, but you take whatever advantage you can and you use it.
Yeah, and this, in the case of Long Beach, I mean, one of the things I really liked about it was, besides being in a group of people of like-minded thinkers all wanting
Yeah.
to do the same thing, and it was by the time you get down to actually making a movie, it's only like a dozen people or so left, so
Yeah.
you become a really tight-knit group.
That's why we're still in touch with each other pretty much, especially Jason and I. We got to know each other right away and became good friends. The funny thing is, actually, the first day of school, and we're sitting in the auditorium, and they're giving all the pep talks and all that stuff, I looked around the room and I said to myself, who's my biggest competition? And I looked at Jason and I said, he's the guy. And the fact is, he's better than I am. This is living proof he's working in the business and I'm not.
Well,
Let's go put this back around over here, only because my arm.
you have a
Oops.
question? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let's see. Somebody had a question? Why don't you look on your computer, because we've lost it probably on this for the moment.
Just can't afford the house. Yeah, it's yeah. No, I know everything's so crazy, silly expensive.
There you
put that
go.
up there a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, I'm gonna bring it. Yeah, because you're a little bit taller than I am, aren't you? No, don't. I'll make sure to push it up for you.
I know. I remember. I think I stayed at the dorms for the first year, and then after that, I actually ended up in some dump off of Termino or Zemino, and
That's a street in Long
the
Beach.
street in Long Beach. It was actually down. I'm familiar with Snoop Doggy Dogg, but his very first video was shot on top of a record store, and I lived just down the street from that. For a couple of
You're
years.
still too tall.
Yeah,
You're what, 6 something?
just 6'1".
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm not. Let's see if we can fix that.
Let's see what question. Oh yeah, I do have a trackball. I can just hold it up. And I always, people laugh sometimes because they don't, especially like some of the younger guys or whatever. Still, they use like the 6-button mouse or something. And I always say, well, I grew up in an arcade, so I got used to playing Centipede. And once this thing kind of came out, there's no way you can't. It's just I couldn't operate it without it.
Okay, so I'm going. Oh,
Yes, no, exactly. It's the only way to go. for
yes,
sure.
Alan, absolutely. I'm going to see if pan down. This here.
Oh yeah.
There you go. There's his editing keyboard. You want to explain the system? Okay.
Let's
So
see if I can-
you don't hand you
Oh.
yeah, because it's got the gimbal to it. So
Oh.
I tell you.
Operator error.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's fine.
Not
So
as
they
bad
can-
as the one I did.
You can see. I've actually been carrying a keyboard like this one my entire time I've been doing this. I like the old mechanical keys, and the new one. They went to a.
Let's see. I can't see it from this side.
Oh, there you go.
Hang on. No, yeah.
There we go. I got it.
Yeah, because the problem is for the audio to work, I've got to be up here by the mic, and so what I'm going to do. Hang on one second. Hang on, everyone. I'm going to switch things around a bit, so we can both talk, but we can be looking at the. All right, come on. This so what I'm going to do is I'm going. Yeah, this is live streaming at its best, I'm sure. I prefer a good clickety keyboard, Megan says, and I love the big mechanical keys as well. It threw me back to the 80s. Yes, okay, so, boom. Yes,
There we
okay,
go.
there we go. So now,
Oh yeah, now you can kind of see the rig.
now, yeah, so hang on. This way we can talk, and I can point it, and they're going to hear us and they can see. So go ahead and explain what we're looking at here.
So basically, it's a keyboard that I've customized, and the V key is actually like B, and it's it's confusing to anybody else that's used that tries to touch it. You try to type an email or something, it makes it difficult. But for me, the way this is set up, I've got all the shortcuts to to all the different buttons. Like this button here does like the we'll sync the two cameras, and we can kind of get into that. This is like a locator button, so you can mark stuff. This is for trim mode. This is plays, pauses, goes, rewinds.
And then let's take a look at I'm going to pull back. Come on back with me so they can hear you if we talk.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm going the wrong. I love it. Looks useful. Okay. Oh, Alon uses an Avid too. That's an Avid system.
Yeah. No. It and it's on like one of the latest towers, so it's it's pretty quick.
In fact, is the tower anywhere here to be seen?
Oh, it's just over there. So the trash can see it.
Oh, okay, so here, that, my dear friends, is what's operating the Avid system. That little thing that looks like a trash can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how it's it's come a long way from where it was. Essentially, it's the same software from 1993 is about the time Avid came out. and you know, it's just faster, and it's got more tricks. I sort of have a love-hate relationship with it, to be honest, because when I got into this, no, they're just standard HP monitors. Nothing. There's nothing too special, but they're, you know, like 27 inches across, you know, diagonal, and you kind of want a big monitor so you can, you know, see everything, tiles and all that.
You want to talk about what's on the screen?
Oh, sure.
Which screen you want to go with first?
Well, this is fine. So just to give you a sense, and oh, you
here's-
got the speakers. Yes, they are. I'm sorry. Yes, those are. And it's kind of a standard speaker, and we all share the same. All the different cutting rooms all share the same speakers and the same mixer, and that way, basically, we set everything to unity. Oh yeah, I know, it's so exciting.
Well, again, Alon is an animator. He does this, you know.
Oh, yeah,
In fact,
yeah.
Alon, as I recall, you do this professionally, not just for your YouTube channel, correct? It'll take him a moment to
Oh, okay.
type a response.
So basically, what we have here is just a standard
Go ahead
set
and
of
just that way, yeah.
clips. Yeah, there we go.
In fact, I'll
Yeah, there
zoom
goes.
in.
Yeah, it's his job.
So-
That's fine. No, you can
okay,
leave it like
okay.
that. So basically, the way it works is they'll shoot, you know, on set. They'll shoot with a number of cameras. It's usually 2, sometimes it's 3. And look at that. I'll turn off a text message. And then from there, it goes to what's called the DIT operator. And he basically downloads all the footage that was shot for the day. And, you know, in this case, this is just some stock footage of some palm trees. That doesn't really mean anything. But once he does that, he can then basically apply kind of what they call a LUT, which that gives
Why don't you explain that for those who aren't film people?
Oh, so basically what a LUT is, and I actually should know what the acronym means or what it stands for, but basically it's just a type of color correction. And they do kind of a rudimentary one of like, okay, it's supposed to be a little more blue or it's a little more green, that kind of thing. And then from there, it goes to a post house where they actually sync. They've got like third-party machines that can read the time code, and they sync the picture and the track together. So when you have a slate, it's, you know, you're to the exact same frame. And so what we get then are the clips that look like this, and we take it and we organize it into bins, so we can kind of pretend like that this bin that I have up here of this palm tree stock would be a scene. And, you know, so this would be like take 3, take 4, take 5, take 6, and this would be like the next
Alon
setup.
has a question there.
Yep. Do you use extra tools for composite, Avid Media? No worries. Sometimes we use After Effects.
In fact, let me swing this around so they can see who's talking.
Sure, there you go.
Okay, and hang on, I'm going to bring it up. There you go.
Some of the guys will use After Effects, and then we can do that. We can use that to kind of enhance some visual effects. It depends on like the show that you're working on. If you're doing just kind of a talky kind of thing, then there's not going to be too many visual effects. Like Shameless is a good example of that, or Mad Men was a good example of that. Although we did some trickery with the like a lot of split screens and, you know, things of that nature. But if you do, I worked on The Punisher, the Netflix one a few years ago, and with that one we actually had like an in-house visual effects editor, and they were doing all kinds of stuff where, you know, basically we'd cut the scene and then we would send it to them and then they would enhance it. You know, with either muzzle flashes or, you know, blood
Yeah.
splurts or
Yeah.
whatever. And so, you know, it's just one step of the process. Back in the day, when you used to actually edit on film, everything was very simple. Like, you know, you would just have the television show or the movie that you were editing, and there'd be almost no effects. And they used to have, basically, it was a grease pencil, and he would mark on the film, and there were different things, like an X. If you put an X on the film, and as it would go through the projector, you could see the X, and that meant that there was a dissolve that
Right.
was happening there.
Right. And depending on how many frames you covered, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. look, I'm 6 something.
There you go.
Yeah, right. Okay, so depending on how many frames you covered with that X, that would determine how long the fade or the cross dissolve was. And, 24 frames per second. So if you wanted a 2-second dissolve or cross dissolve, you'd have to have 48 frames covered.
Right, exactly. And back in the day, people could watch, they would actually watch the movie with almost no sound effects, no music, nothing. And
Yeah.
today people just can't do that. They basically, when we even just put an assembly together, it has, let's see. Yeah, that's so old school. I love this lighting effects done in Ghostbusters. Oh yeah.
And he still animates frame by frame.
Oh yeah. That's funny.
He's got a really quirky style, by the way.
Oh, I'll have to see it.
Yeah.
But now, basically, when we turn over, even just an assembly, it's basically a finished show.
Yeah, why don't you explain in the old school what the different steps of film editing were? Because you'd start out with what's called a rough cut.
Right, and we still do that today.
Okay, but basically all you do is you just put all the footage together and you just very, very loosely, just to get it kind of in order. Then you do basically, I think fine cut was the next step. Or
Well,
no, assembly was the first step. See, that shows you
Yeah.
how long I've been in the business.
Yeah, and that's all stays true. But basically, in terms of its complexity, it gets worse every year. So now it's like complete with titles and music and effects.
The producers and the directors can't imagine what the footage is going to look like unless it's already all there.
And can we spin this around? here?
Yeah.
Let's show them the timeline.
I will move that. Okay, so I'll move the
And go
camera.
over to this monitor.
All right. There you go. There you go. There you go.
So this here is what the timeline looks like, and so every
In fact, let me see if I can bring that so you can talk better and they can see better. Hang on there.
yeah, that should be good.
There you go. How's that? Yeah. Okay. Go for it.
So all of these, every time you see like one of these little, slashes, is an edit.
Show me a slash and I'll. Oh, you know how
Yeah.
to zoom on. Go ahead and zoom in on it.
Yeah, you can see right.
You gotta really touch it good. There you
There
go.
we go. So that gives you a sense. Oh, thank you. Yeah, just let us know if we're boring, because I don't want to be boring at all.
Live stream. Yeah, that's live streaming.
It is.
You never know. I tell you, Alon, you weren't here for the first opening salvo, where I had put the camera locked into portrait mode. I swore I had set it so it'd be in landscape, and it wasn't. And it was black. So for the first 10 minutes, it was just totally hosed up.
So basically,
Oh, glad you like it.
all of these are the edits it takes to make up. In this case, is just a television show, but everything else, these are all these orange ones here.
Let
Are,
me zoom back out for them.
There we go. That's better.
There you go.
All these are sound effects. The stuff down here at the bottom, I don't have one of the drives turned on, that's why it's not showing up. But all of these are different music cues, and you have to have all of it to be able to tell the story. Otherwise, they just get bored really fast, and they can't. You have to put it in a way, or make a presentation.
Thanks, Megan.
Yep. Oh, there you go. In a way to make it palatable, and so they can see like what the finished product is going to look like.
Bring
And
it back around.
back in the day, you didn't really have to do that. Maybe you'd have like a gunshot or something.
Yeah.
Very simple. But so anyway, that's just sort of what the timeline looks like, and gives a sense of what
Now, I don't know
how
if
we're
you
doing
can
it.
dig one up to show them, but we were talking earlier about what a edit script looks like.
Oh yeah. So, well, there's two things. There is a like just a paper log that the script supervisor makes for us, and I'll bring one up here so you can kind of see what it looks like.
Okay, I'll swing it around over here and bring it. Okay, I'm going to swing the camera down, guys. So give me a second. And see, goes this way, and then down is up, and up is down. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So hang on, I got to just swing it over a bit. Now, is this how you get it on computer like this? Or do you
so,
get a hard copy
well,
as well?
Actually, we have the hard copy. I like that a little better than looking on the computer. And basically, this is called a line script, and this is from a defunct pilot that is never going to see the light of day. But so, just to give an idea of what it is that we're looking at here. So this tells you, you know, the character name, and this is what the guy is saying. It says, "Just want to make sure that you're okay with me sitting in the seat you wanted." And this tells me that this is scene Apple 54, and this lets me know that this is the master. So in this master, with these little squiggly lines, this covers all of this dialogue. And so I know when I go to look, when we go to look at the take, I know that the camera has all of this covered, which we call coverage. This one here, this is a different setup. So now this will probably be a little tighter because this is the same scene, but this now has an A next to it.
And the A and the B depend. Those are designations for each camera. There's camera
Actually not in this case.
No.
So this lets me know that this is the master, and I know that because there isn't a letter next to it, and it'll just have like to be take 1, take 2, take 3. But this one will probably be like a tighter setup, and this is Apple 54 Charlie, which is it'll probably be like the reverse. So if the two characters are talking, the one camera will be shooting, you know, one way, and then they'll spin it around, and then they'll get the other guy.
Let's go ahead and bring a camera right back around so they can talk to you.
Oh, yep.
So they can see you.
There we are.
There you go. And just so you know, see, now I was working in the film business back in the 80s. I've been an assistant director and a bunch of little, you know, PA, that stands for production assistant. Basically, it's a go-for position. Go for this, go for that. I haven't worked professionally in the film business in probably 30 years, I would say, something like that. And, you know, I do professional photography, portrait and product photography. But Jason here and all the other guys from my class, they're still working pros. So go ahead.
Yeah, they have. I'll say one more thing about the script, and I wish I had one available. But they actually now have. There's like an electronic script, and it's kind of annoying it's really great, but having to build it is a nightmare. Where you have like you see the electronic script just like I showed you, but you can actually put the clips in the page, and then you can drag a line down, and basically you can see, you know, exactly where the shot lies and what dialogue it's covering, and then you literally push a button and it'll play like whatever that line says. That's what I figured. You can go right to that line, and it's a great tool. And it's invaluable, but to build it and actually have to go through each take line by line and mark it, it does have a voice recognition thing, but it only works maybe 75-80% of the time, and so you still have to go back and check it and make sure it's all right. But that's like one of the tools that sort of has made things a little easier.
Now, I'm going to ask the question, but before I have him answer, I'm going to ask you guys. Would you like to know what his daily work routine is, and what does an assistant editor do on a day-to-day basis? Because we've given you kind of an overview of the, you know, editing process, but what is it like for a guy like him? He comes in 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what time you come to work.
Yeah, it's usually like 9 or 9:30.
Okay, he's got banker's
That's
hours.
why I did production or post-production, because in production they're there at like 5:30, and that's really early.
Yeah. We're willing to spend the time here. Fortunately, we're on a Wi-Fi system.
Yes.
So the stream should be really good, and there shouldn't be any problems with it dropping. So I don't see anybody saying no. What's that say? Yes. I was told, okay. I can't read it. I don't have my glasses on.
Oh.
I'll read it over here.
Predominantly editing. Basically, to do like a mixing position or the visual effects editor, which I've almost actually gotten into a couple times, and I may end up there. To be honest, I never thought I'd be doing this as long as I have.
Both of us wanted to be directors, and Jason's work was really, really good. It was a lot better than mine. It was good stuff.
Well, it was, was a long time ago, and I've done I've done a few like small things, but oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
both of us. That's why I'm doing YouTube. Okay, I had dropped out of filmmaking years ago, and I stumbled across Corridor Digital, Freddie Wong, Mystery Guitar Man, who, by the way, just had his first feature film release called Arctic. And these guys on YouTube, they were all young guys out of USC, I think. And they inspired me to go, well, why, I can still make movies. See, I started making films when I was 12. And I loved the fun of making movies. But working in the business was not as enjoyable for me as it was when I was a kid. And that's normal. But I started making UFO Bob and doing silly stuff. And as you can see, it's not translated, transferred. It's evolved into doing live streaming. And of course, that's thanks to John Dobb. But I still love making movies. John, what's your name again? Jason. We talk all the time. Now, I live about an hour south of Jason, but we talk all the time, and we talk about movies. And occasionally, I get to go to some of his weekend movie things. Right? What are those film parties you do?
oh the movie night.
Yeah, the movie night. But what it is there's a group of guys up here who have a collection of 16 and 35 millimeter films, and they watch them on the screen running through a projector. And that's a big difference than watching it on a DVD.
Yeah, no, there's no question. I always say it's like the closest thing you can get to a time machine because,
Yeah.
especially watching like the old TV shows, which is how they actually used to broadcast way back in the day. They send out 16 millimeter film prints
Yeah.
to the different like network stations, like in your local, wherever you're in Philly or Chicago or whatever. And basically there was like a little video camera that would sort of like a kinescope where it would basically shoot the image, and that's what was beamed out to everybody. And so now all those prints are kind of in the hands of collectors, and people can play them. Sometimes they have commercials. That's the best thing.
Yes, Alon, it really is. There's nothing like, first of all, you're hearing the projector in the background. It's not very loud, but you're aware of it subconsciously. And then the light playing through the dark room onto that silver screen, and you're watching that image. It's a different feeling than watching it on your big screen TV. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the big screen TV. I love having a home theater. The sound's awesome. You have, Dolby and THX. It's, widescreen. It's huge. But, and it's also something about being in a room with other people who love movies and love watching movies. That communal experience is different than sitting alone in a room watching on a DVD.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We can talk, you talk about whatever you'd like. Like either
We're kind of getting off track because we're going to talk about what's it like for you to be an editor.
What's the thing is like the day-to-day experience, is, I don't want to say it's not dull. That's the wrong word because I'm so used to it. I've been doing it for so long.
But it's like any job.
But
if you do it long enough, it becomes routine to you. You just do it and you don't even think about it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Basically, the short. I think some of the other stuff would actually be more interesting. But
Go for it. I'm going to let him. He's got the helm.
Well, just real quick. Basically, we get the dailies and we process them, meaning we organize everything, put it into the different bins for each scene, and then from there, the scenes get edited, and we'll add music and sound effects, and each day goes by as the production shoots. You're getting new scenes in every day, and basically, ultimately, in television, it's usually about 7 or 8 days. If it's a bigger thing, like, kind of like Game of Thrones or whatever, they shoot for like 15 days, 18 days, something like that. A standard TV show is like 7 to 9. A feature, like a smaller budget feature, is maybe 25 days. And then if you're doing something like Avatar, they shoot for a year or more.
Yeah.
But so basically every day we get the dailies, and you keep building the show as the material comes in. And finally, at the end, you have the whole show, and we basically from there do what's called a rough assembly, and then like the director will come in, and it's kind of the whole director thing is kind of funny between television and features. It's a very different power level of power between the two. For example, in television, a director gets 4 days of editing time, whereas in a feature, most of them they get 8 weeks. Some get 10, some get longer.
Yeah.
So it's in television, it's a very quick turnaround. Then from there, it goes through a set of producers, and let's see. And then after the producers, it goes to the network, and then finally you kind of can lock the show, and that takes it's generally about 2 months of actual work. Okay, we'll be here probably for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think so.
But the day-to-day is just a lot of actually organizing, and there is obviously there's a lot of creativity that goes behind it as well.
Quite a bit.
But a big part of it is getting the stuff into the system, getting it back out.
Yeah.
Sharing what you're working on with the different, whether it's the music department, which usually makes up, there's a composer and there's a music editor, the sound team. Basically, they'll take what we have done and then they enhance it like tenfold.
Yeah.
So, and then they've got way more time to do, to do the little intricate stuff. Like if you have like a gunshot, there's not just the gunshot, it's like the sound of the slide or the magazine ejecting, that sort of thing. But so, the day it's...
Yeah, well, I think gives them a pretty good overview. Now,
Yeah, just a quick.
I know some people might wonder, does an editor ever go on the set? Now, occasionally I would think, but not all the time.
No, yeah, we basically we're usually here. Oh,
Uh-oh.
we can.
So we got.
Oh, I got a power
Okay,
cord there.
all right, good.
If it'll plug in.
Yeah, well, let's see. Do we have enough room? Maybe not.
Oh, there's a plug up here.
Okay.
Hang on, we're gonna plug in quick.
Okay. We're down to 20% battery life.
Oh, you'll have.
So we're going to. Oh, I see. Okay, good. So there's that. Now, you know what? I don't know if we can do that because
Can't take-
it's on this side of the phone.
Oh.
So,
well, we'll be quick then.
Yeah. Well, that's our cue to
We
wrap
ran-
this live stream up in
We
about.
ran out of juice.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go for at least 5 more minutes, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. I think we've been on camera long enough, don't you think? You know what? I get really antsy when the shot's always the same, so I kind of want to mix it up for the
Sure.
viewers.
Wanna
So
spin it around either way.
yeah, so I'll hold it a bit and see again. And that, dear friends, is a couch. Isn't that amazing? You don't see many of those anymore. No casting goes on in that couch, does it?
No.
No. All right. Yeah, that was a bad joke. All right, let's see.
And there's actually a funny story with that, but I can't share it.
Okay. All right.
One of the things that I did want to mention, it's funny, back when cable first came out, they basically said there'd be jobs for everybody, and that never really happened. It wasn't until streaming came along, and now because everyone is so hungry for content, we'll do questions right after this. There's a lot of work out there now, and people are working all the time just because there's so many shows. Now, I don't know how long that's going to last, and I know a lot of people in the industry, are concerned. But I know Netflix is starting to cut back on their original programming. But right now, it's like everybody I know is pretty much working, and there's never been a time like that in history. I mean, there can be times where you're not working for maybe 5 or 6 months. I know I've gone through dry spells. It's been a while, and I've been very fortunate, but dry spells where you're not working. You're on unemployment for
Yeah, in fact, I think it's
5
something
months.
important for everyone to know. You don't work for one company generally. You go from project to project to project, and you're invited, usually by the senior editor, to come on to the staff.
Yeah,
correct?
or the producers as well. It just depends. But the point I want to make is, if you're looking to get into something like this, there's probably never been a better time because
Yeah.
there's so many channels and so many streaming revenues now that basically there's just pretty much work for everybody, especially in visual effects. Is they need armies of people to pull off things like Avengers and that sort of stuff. Here it is, Mr. First Engineering. Can you please explain what are you working on these days, if you don't mind? Oh, not at all. I'm actually working on.
Why don't you take the camera and just.
There, I'll hold it.
Yeah, there you go. I'll stand off to the side for a bit.
Oh, no worries.
It's all yours.
Wow. So basically, I've been working on a show called Animal Kingdom and Shameless. Is the stuff I've been doing recently, and they're really great people. And
Just so you know, Animal Kingdom is not.
It's not about animals.
It's not a nature video.
And that's been, a lot of fun to work on. Trying to think of what else.
Yeah, again, it's like, but what's your average time on screen here? Grab it that way. Oh,
Yeah, we can spin a little bit.
Spin it. There you go.
Oh, I know. One of the things too, and I'm sort of the group of people I'm working with are very talented and really know what they're doing, but that isn't always the case. And so we basically typically work between a 50 to 60 hour week. And then if you're on a show that's a lot more complicated or visual effects heavy, you can be doing a lot of 70 or even 80-hour work weeks. There can be or 6 or 7 day weeks.
And depending on where you live, your drive can be a 2-hour drive into town. Now, now he's lucky because he's living in Burbank, so he's close. But he used to make a 2-hour drive, right? Between an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours, when you're going down to.
Like Santa Monica?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be like an hour and a half. The traffic in LA is so bad and it just gets worse.
Every year.
It gets worse every year. Yes, it is. Yes, the TNT show. But so anyway, there can be a lot of long hours, especially if you're doing a pilot or a first season network show. Those tend to be the most difficult and complicated because everyone's trying to figure out like what the tone of the show is, what direction is it going, what's the story that we want to tell. Whereas like you're on a show like this one that's already been going for 3 or 4 seasons, or in the case of Shameless, they're on season 10. Everyone's got it, down pat by then. And so that, the type of show that you take can make, make a big difference, in what it is you're doing.
Well, listen, I think we should probably wrap only because our battery life is.
Our battery life is almost gone.
Yeah, I would like for this to go on. And the deadline insane. Are the deadlines insane? You'd laugh at that if you know that Dan Insane is his channel.
Oh, well, there you go.
And they are insane.
On occasion, depends on. Sometimes there's like an accelerated schedule. I worked on a show once where they were finishing, from the day they finished shooting to the day it had to air was 8 days. And in television, that's a really, really short amount of time to go through all the processes. That's okay.
Don't feel bad. I didn't hear about them until I talked to Jason.
I never saw a frame of either of them until I started working on them. So that happens too.
Yeah.
I want to make one quick point.
Yeah, go for it.
It's funny, like 4 or 5 years ago, I was not, I didn't really get the YouTube thing, and the people that were doing it, it was like, like Mystery Guitar Man and all these, all these
Mystery
guys.
Guitar Man, yeah.
I kind of dismissed them, honestly, because if they're really so talented and stuff, and this is a very arrogant thing to say, but I was like, they would be here, making real content in Hollywood. And then Vern kind of turned me on to some of this stuff, and I've completely done a 180. And I think you said that they're stars in their own right.
Yeah.
And that couldn't be more true.
For example, John Dobb, he has 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, that's no easy feat, obviously.
And some of these TV shows don't get 1 million viewers.
No, not at all. And I think
he's not even a big YouTuber. There are people with 10 million and more.
Yeah, no, that stuff is mind-boggling. But I think what a lot of you guys out there that are doing, they're making content every day is just fantastic. And the best part about it is is it's your own material.
Yes.
I mean, when I come to work every day, it's not mine. It's
That's
somebody
why
else's.
I do this, okay? I don't want to work for somebody else. I want to put out my vision. Even if it's a limited vision, at least it's mine.
Yeah, and that's, I think that's really important. Oh yeah, I ditched cable back in 2010, and I probably would have done 2009, but I was still watching the Lakers, so I kept it around for another year.
Yeah.
But
Yep, see? That's what Alon does, same reason.
yeah, no, exactly.
The problem is now YouTube, with its algorithms and its censorship, is becoming a problem for a lot of creators because it's indiscriminate the way it pulls people off.
Right. But that's a chat for a different day.
That's another story.
Well,
well-
I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think so. I want to thank you for showing us around and talking to us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Let's see, hang on, I'm gonna want a nice frame. You know me, it's all about good composition. No. Okay, I'll hold it up. See, they got that light back there. I want to end on at least a good shot. Okay. Oh crap! I'm screwing this all up. Okay, hang on. It was so good as long as we kept the camera steady. All right, so we're gonna bring
I'm
this.
getting tired.
Yes, I don't blame you. So, look at that, we're back.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. So, thank you for taking your time. I didn't read that. Thanks for the afternoon. You're welcome. My bread will be out of the oven in a few minutes.
Nice.
It's nice to know that we're good for something.
Yes.
Thank you for watching, all of you. And I want to do my pitch because I'm running a
Then take it
show.
away.
So that is, please like, comment if you're watching the replay, subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell notification so you get notices of when I'm going to go live. I invite you to watch some of my other videos. I got 153 videos, cooking, cars, UFOs, crazy stuff. Go check them out. And I guess that pretty much covers it. Let me know in the comment section if you want more videos like this, because there are more people like Jason that I would like to interview. But I don't know if it's of real interest to anybody yet. It's interest to me because I'm in the business, or I was, and Jason's a good buddy of mine. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera around and give you 20 seconds of, let's see, catch you later. Bye, Megan. Bye, Jason. And Alon, yes, good to see you too. Let's see. Oop, there we go. Go on. We'll exit on that shot. Now, the reason I do that, Jason, is that they have something called end cards, okay, where you can give a link showing a graphic that will allow them to link to the next one. So pick one of the ones you're looking at right now and click on it, and click on that notification to subscribe. I think that about does it. All right, everyone. Thank